A Streetcar Named Desire, Tennessee Williams. Autobiography. Born Thomas Laney Williams in Columbus, Mississippi, moved to Saint Louis in 1980. In 1929, attended University of Missouri. In 1931, worked at the shoe company where he met a man named Stanley Kowalski. In 1939, he moved to New Orleans, then changed his name to Tennessee. First play, The Glass Menagerie, staged in Chicago, then New York for over 500 performances. The play won New York Drama Critics Circle Award. According to Williams, the play is about the ravishment of the tender, the sensitive, the delicate by the savage and brutal force of modern society. He died in February 24, 1983 in New York City. His occupation is playwright, genre Southern Gothic. Influences Anton Chekhov, D. H. Lawrence, August Strindberg, Han Crane. From an early age, William used writings as an escape from a world of reality in which he felt acutely uncomfortable. He lived in New Orleans from 1938, a bohemian place where all manner of behavior was tolerated, if not encouraged. It was here that he was inspired to create streetcar. It is said that he saw on the Vixicare two streetcars. One was named Desire and the other Cemetery, which he thought was somehow symbolic of life itself. His best works. In 1947, A Streetcar Named Desire wins the Pulitzer Prize. In 1951, the play is made into a highly successful film starring Marlon Brando and Vivien Leigh. In 1955, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof wins the Pulitzer Prize. In 1958, made into a movie starring Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor. Characters of the play. Bluntschli DeBoss, Stella's older sister, who was a high school English teacher in Laurel, Mississippi until she was forced to leave her post. Blanche is a loquacious and fragile woman around the age of 30. After losing Belly Reeve, the Diobas family home, Blanche, New Orleans reveals that she is completely destitute. Stella Kowalski, Blanche's younger sister, about 25 years old and of a mild disposition that visibly sets her apart from her more vulgar neighbors. Stella possesses the same time-born aristocratic heritage as Blanche, but she jumped the sinking ship in her late teens and left Mississippi for New Orleans. Stanley Kowalski, the husband of Stella, Stanley is the epitome of vital force. He is loyal to his friends, passionate to his wife, and heartlessly cruel to Blanche. With his Polish ancestry, he represents the new heterogeneous America. Mitch. Mitch is more sensitive and more gentlemanly than Stanley. His other friends, perhaps because he lives with his mother, who is slowly dying. Blanche and Mitchie are an unlikely match. Mitch doesn't fit the bill of the chivalric hero, the man Blanche dreams will come to rescue her. Alan Gray, the young man with poetic aspirations who Blanche fell in love with and married as a teenager. One afternoon, she discovered Alan in bed with an older male friend. That evening at a ball, after she announced her disgust at his homosexuality, he ran outside and shot himself in the death. A young collector, a teenager who comes to the Kowalski's door to collect for the newspaper when Bluntschli is home alone. The boy leaves bewildered after Bluntschli hits on him and gives him a passionate farewell kiss. Bluntschli's flirtation with the newspaper collector also displays her unhealthy sexual preoccupation with teenage boys. Introduction: The central conflict in A Streetcar Named Desire occurs between two people, representing disparate social backgrounds, incompatible natures, and opposing approaches to life. Streetcar unfold as a series of encounters between Bluntschli's worlds and Stanley's world. Their confrontations begin almost immediately with the characters meeting in the play first scene. Bluntschli mentioning that she is an English teacher and Stanley remarking, I never was a very good English student. These, these words establish the fundamental difference and incapability between them. Their first true clash occurs a day later when Stanley interrogates Bluntschli over the loss of Deoboy's family home, Belly Reeve. Bluntschli's conquetous behavior, her effort to handle and diffuse the situation, antagonize him. The battle is this begun, and tension and hatred between the pair escalates with every subsequent encounter as both try to win other characters over their side. Historical context. As a Southerner, he was more affected by the events of the American Civil War 1861 to 1865 than World War II. Following the defeat by the Northern states, the South suffered economically during and after the Civil War. However, this year of decaying grandeur added to the romantic appeal for many writers, including Williams. As time moved on, industrialization continued in the cities. Williams was interested in the progress of American history, not only where it had been, but also where it was going and how it would get there. Cultural context. Tennessee Williams saw the South as a broken and damaged place in which the decay was somehow charming. Williams is an almost completely non political writer. More than any other American dramatist, he began to move away from writing about the large political issues to writing about the emotional burdens of everyday life. The tension in this play come partly from cultural conflict. The worlds of Stanley and Bluntschli are so opposed that neither can understand the other. Theme: exterior and interior fragility, vulnerability. I draw every character out of my very multiple split personality. My heroines also express the climate of my interior world at the time in which those characters were created. Theme: the relationship between sex and death. Bluntschli attempts to avoid age. Bluntschli attempts to avoid age. Her sexual desire for men younger than her. Her sexual desires for men. The link between sex and death leads to her madness. Theme: dependence on men. Real cause of Bluntschli's downfall. Male companions, the only source of happiness for Stella and Bluntschli, depend on men for their sustenance and self-image. Theme: cruelty. Bluntschli's well-intentioned deceit, Stella's self-deceiving duplicity, Stanley's on purpose and unchecked hatred, prevails whole play. Theme: the primitive and the primal. Stanley, a very unrefined manhood, a man untouched by civilization, has irresistible appeal for Stella and Bluntschli. Theme: loneliness. Companion theme to desire. Bluntschli is lost between these two extremes. She seeks a companion and a protector. Desire versus cemeteries, romance versus realism. Bluntschli takes the streetcar named Desire and Cemeteries, those cars, and run together to Bluntschli's final destination. Tension in the play. Bluntschli the romantic and Stanley the realist. Theme. The themes discussed above strongly prevails the play and can be seen in every action and dialogue of the characters. The characters spin around their desires. Bluntschli, being the protagonist, is a real passenger of a streetcar named Desire. That car takes her to her destiny in the end. About title. Streetcar named Desire. Title comes from streetcar that runs along Desire Street. There are two New Orleans neighborhoods, Desire and Cemeteries. Characters. Bluntschli divorced, star age 25, hometown Laurel, Mississippi, marital status, marital occupied, housewife. Stella Kowalski, age 25, Polish descent, factory work. His hobbies are bowling, poker, drinking. Harlot Mitchell. Role of men and women in the play. Role of men in this play masculinity means aggression, control, physical dominance, violence. Role of woman. Some of Bluntschli's difficulties can be traced to the narrow roles open to females during that period. Light and dark motives. In the sixth scene, Bluntschli reveals to Mitch that loving her husband was like having the world revealed in bright, vivid light. Since his death, she wants darkness and has only experienced dim light during her sexual affairs with others. Sex as a literal death in this drama sex leads to hardships, aggression, literal death, violence, and hardships. Desire, sex and desire for men, if not found, Bluntschli creates them. Bluntschli came to town on street car named Desire. Stanley cannot control his desires and Stella learns the truth but stays with Stanley as she loves desires him. class, caste, alcoholism, and delusion of Diranter. Stanley and Bluntschli are opposed, advised Mitch not to marry Bluntschli. Ticket as a birthday gift, drugs and alcohol affects consciousness. Delusion of Dryander is a type of disease in which one thinks of him or herself as a someone higher than one another, higher than the other. The symbol employed most frequently by Williams in his emphasis of the essential differences in the worlds is light. It represents the reality Stanley lives by the harness Bluntschli must open. He faces it because it is him. He is a naked light bulb. He faces the way things are, doesn't delude himself into believing they are something else. Bluntschli did that once when he saw the truth about her young husband, and it nearly broke her. Since then, she has retired into a world of shadow and illusion. There has never been any light that's stronger than this kitchen candle. If she must have a light, she prefers candlelight. The light in her room is too strong for her, so she covers it with a paper lantern. She uses this in a symbolic explanation of her own approach to reality. Soft people have got to cut the favor of hot ones, have got to be selective, put on soft color, shimmer and glow. This is the only way in which Bluntschli can cope up with Stanley's world, but his world forbids it. She must improvise, make the necessary adjustments. He tolerates no compromise. His primitive, honest manner threatens to destroy her. The two ways of life are totally incompatible. There can be no peaceful coexistence. Thus, the play is structured on the principle of presenting the two worlds, establishing what each world believes in, and then placing these worlds in a series of direct confrontations until one is destroyed.